At 45, Paul Newman was attractive. At 70, he was simply fascinating. Meanwhile, some men barely reach 35, looking like they've already lived 2 complete lives, and not good ones. Male aging has 2 possible paths, and the difference between becoming a rare wine or mere boxed juice isn't genetic. It's a daily choice you make. I've spent years observing successful men, and there is an undeniable pattern. Those who age with power and presence follow certain principles. They aren't hidden secrets, but habits that most men completely ignore, preferring the easy path that leads to accelerated aging. The 55-year-old executive who enters a room and commands attention wasn't born that way. He built himself. While other men the same age seem defeated by life, wearing worn-out gym clothes at the supermarket, this man is impeccable, with perfect posture and a presence that cannot be ignored. Have you noticed how certain men gain instant respect in any environment? It is not by chance. It is a precise combination of elegance, presence, and disciplined self-care that transforms an ordinary man into a respected figure. And it all begins with understanding the difference between maintenance and neglect. The invisible aging factor that nobody mentions. Ryan Gosling recently commented on something that changed my perspective. The moment you stop caring about your appearance, the world stops too. Many men think personal care is vanity, a waste of time, something for women or insecure men. This is exactly the thinking that transforms men into poorly maintained versions of themselves before they reach 40. Science is clear. Up to 70% of visible aging isn't related to your genes, but to your daily habits. A Stanford University study followed identical twins for decades and discovered dramatic differences in their appearance as they aged, simply based on their lifestyle choices. When Edward worked for NASA, he observed how astronauts returned from space looking years older after just a few weeks in zero gravity. Why? Because without resistance, without constant challenge, the human body quickly begins to deteriorate. And guess what? The same happens here on Earth when you opt for convenience instead of discipline. The first element that separates rare wines from boxed juices is so obvious that most men completely ignore it: rigorous nutrition. The nutritional matrix that deceives most men. The food industry spends billions to convince you that processed foods are convenient and acceptable. The inconvenient truth: these foods are programming your body to age at an accelerated speed. The inflammation caused by refined sugars, hydrogenated oils, and processed carbohydrates isn't just an internal problem. It literally rewrites your DNA through a process called glycation. When proteins or lipids come into contact with sugars, they create compounds called AGs, advanced glycation end products. The name is appropriate. They literally age you. These compounds damage collagen and elastin, the proteins responsible for skin firmness and elasticity. The result: premature wrinkles, sagging, and that tired, lifeless look we see in so many modern men. Men like Paul McCartney don't maintain a young and vigorous appearance by accident. Their diet is built around lean proteins, healthy fats, and vegetables, foods that fight inflammation rather than cause it. And no, I'm not talking about fad diets. I'm talking about tested nutritional principles that successful men consistently follow, even when dining at expensive restaurants or on business trips. There is a reason why David Beckham still looks like an athlete, in top form at 50, and it is not just genetics. Men who age like fine wine understand that each meal is a decision. You're either investing in your future appearance or accepting premature deterioration. There is no middle ground. The true distinction between men who look worthy of respect and admiration with age and those who just look tired and defeated is often found in the early hours of the day, long before the rest of the world wakes up. The morning ritual of men who command respect. A study conducted by the Human Performance Center revealed something surprising. 89% of C-level executives wake up before 6 a.m. Coincidence? Hardly. The most powerful and respected men I know have something in common, a non-negotiable morning routine that includes movement, personal development, and body care. When you leave your body still, it begins to fold in on itself. Posture deteriorates, muscles weaken, mental attitude follows the same path. That's why the most influential men I know start the day with some form of vigorous movement, not to get in shape, but to establish dominance over their bodies and minds. Morning movement triggers the release of testosterone and growth hormone, two essential elements for maintaining a youthful physique and a powerful presence. It's not just about muscles, it's about vitality. After movement, these men dedicate time to their minds. Whether reading, meditating, or strategically planning, they strengthen their mental clarity before the day's demands begin to compete for their attention. Finally, they invest in their presentation. It is not vanity, it is strategy. A man who masters the art of self-care communicates to the world that he has resources, discipline, and attention to detail. These are qualities that inspire confidence in business, romance, and all areas of life. Compare this with the average man who wakes up at the last possible minute, skips breakfast or grabs something unhealthy on the way to work, and is lucky if he finds time for a quick shower. Is it really surprising that this man looks sloppy, tired, and old before his time? Consistency in these morning rituals not only preserves your youth, it amplifies your presence. And presence is the most valuable currency a man can possess. The forgotten art of power posture. I've observed thousands of men at conferences, executive meetings, and social events. The difference between a man who commands respect and one who is practically invisible often comes down to one thing: how he carries his body. Posture isn't just an aesthetic matter. It's a statement of power. When you see a man like Brosnan entering an environment, it is impossible not to notice the way he presents himself. Straight back, shoulders back, head held high, deliberate movement. It is magnetizing. There is a documented relationship between posture and hormone levels. A Harvard University study found that just 2 minutes in a power posture increases testosterone by 20% and reduces cortisol, stress hormone, by 25%. Think about it. Your posture not only affects how others see you, but also literally alters your brain chemistry. Men who hunch over their phones, who sink into their chairs, or who walk dragging their feet are programming their bodies for accelerated aging and social irrelevance. Deterioration of posture is one of the first visible signs of surrender to the aging process. That is why truly elegant men invest in strengthening postural muscles and remain conscious of how they carry their bodies, even when no one is looking. Because the truth is, someone is always watching and judging. The investment in appearance that mediocre men avoid. There's a clear difference between a dressed man and a well-dressed man. And no, it is not a matter of money. I've seen men in $5,000 suits who look completely lackluster, and men with modest resources who look extraordinary. The difference lies in understanding that clothing isn't just fabric, it is language. The clothes you choose communicate your attention to detail, your respect for yourself and others, and your understanding of social context. Men who age like boxed juice tend to make one of two wrong things. Either they cling to styles from their youth, looking ridiculously outdated, or they simply give up and opt for the path of least resistance, usually baggy pants and shapeless t-shirts. Men who age with dignity understand that style should evolve with age, but never be abandoned. They invest in classic pieces that enhance their current physique, not the body they had at 25 or the body they wish to have after losing 10 kilos. Care for hair, skin, and even nails is not optional for men who wish to command respect. A well-executed Haircut can make a 50-year-old man look vigorous and respectable, while a neglected style can make even a 30-year-old look sloppy and unreliable. The question is, are your style choices aligned with the best version of who you are today, or are they a reflection of laziness or attachment to the past? The secret of the 7% of men who never look old. A fascinating study from the University of Chicago followed men from ages 35 to 75 to determine which factors contributed most to the perception of vitality and authority as age advanced. The result: approximately 7% of men managed to maintain or even increase their perceived presence and vitality over 4 decades. These men shared one crucial characteristic: continuous intellectual curiosity. While most men stopped learning new skills after 40, this select group continued acquiring knowledge and developing new capabilities. Whether learning a new language, musical instrument, or simply staying informed about advances in their field, these men kept their minds sharp and relevant. Neuroscientist Dr. Michael Merzenich discovered that continuous learning not only preserves cognitive function, but also has cascade effects throughout the body, from posture to skin quality and the brightness of the eyes. Mental vitality translates directly into physical vitality. Men who close themselves intellectually, who stop growing and learning, literally begin to wither, first mentally, then physically. It is as if the body follows the brain's example. The neural connections formed during learning new skills stimulate the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that some scientists call fertilizer for the brain. Elevated levels of BDNF are associated not only with brain health, but also with longevity and resistance to stress. Men who maintain this intellectual curiosity are simply more interesting. They have something to contribute to conversations. They ask insightful questions. They connect ideas in surprising ways. And this quality is magnetic, both in business and personal relationships. Ask yourself, are you more curious today than you were 5 years ago, or are you just recycling the same ideas and convictions? The devastating impact of chronic stress. Let me be absolutely clear. Stress is literally sculpting your face. When we study men who age exceptionally well versus those who seem worn down by life, one of the most striking differences is their relationship with stress. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is a powerful corrosive when present at elevated levels. For long periods, it degrades collagen, causing wrinkles, disrupts restorative sleep, accelerating aging, reduces testosterone, diminishing vitality and muscle mass, and even changes fat distribution in your body, favoring accumulation in the abdominal region. Men who age elegantly to avoid stress. They manage it strategically. They understand that acute stress can be beneficial, but chronic stress is a youth killer. These men develop deliberate practices to process and release stress, whether through intense exercise, breathing techniques, prioritized sleep, or strategic periods of complete digital disconnection. A critical mistake I repeatedly see in middle-aged men is believing that alcohol, passive entertainment, or digital procrastination are effective ways to relax. In fact, these strategies often increase cortisol levels in the long term, accelerating aging. Look at any man who maintains a powerful presence beyond 50, and you'll find someone who proactively manages his stress, not someone who succumbs to it or tries to simply mask it. The choice that defines your aging path. Here is the inconvenient truth that no one is willing to say. The path to aging like a fine wine is significantly harder in the short term. It requires sacrifice, discipline, planned discomfort, investment of time, energy, and yes, money. The path to becoming box juice. It's easy, convenient, comfortable. It only requires that you follow the path of least resistance, day after day. The choice between these two destinations isn't made once, but hundreds of times daily. Each meal, each hour of sleep, each exercise session, each social interaction, each decision about how you spend your free time. Men who consistently choose the harder path, the one that demands more from them, are rewarded with longevity, vitality, respect, and influence that expand with age. Those who regularly choose convenience, comfort, and the easy path discover that their social capital, influence, and vitality steadily decrease, often starting well before age 40. And this brings me to the central question: what kind of man do you choose to be? The one who becomes more valuable, respected, and magnetizing with age, or the one who peaks early and spends the rest of his life in a slow, imperceptible decline? If you are committed to aging like a fine wine, gaining wisdom, character, and presence with each passing year, then you need to understand the complete system that makes this possible. Become a man who improves with time. Aging well isn't an accident or a genetic blessing. It's a science, a practice, a deliberate choice. The men I've known who age exceptionally well follow an integrated system of practices that work in synergy. They don't just eat well or exercise. They cultivate a life designed to extract the maximum from each phase of their journey. The good news? This system can be learned, implemented, mastered. Your current age doesn't matter. How committed you are to self-destructive habits doesn't matter. The human body has an incredible capacity for recovery when you begin to treat it with the respect it deserves. Every 7 to 10 years, you literally become a new person as your cells are replaced. The question is, are you programming this new version of yourself to be stronger, more vital, and more impressive? Or are you allowing deterioration to set in by default? Choose to be the type of man who generates interest and respect just by entering an environment. The type of man who ages not just with grace, but with a presence that expands and intensifies over time. Be the fine wine, not the boxed juice. If you want to learn exactly how to implement this system in your own life, leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell to be notified whenever I publish a new video teaching how refined men live and thrive. Now I want you to leave in the comments, fine wine, if this video resonated with you and if you recommitted to being a man who improves with age. I am Daniel, and at Man of Elegance, we transform elegance into power.